This is GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW, flyers. That is 2 3-page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo GARIS. This is flyer number 123, entitled Punishing the Mob, that's MOB, Money Over Brains, Psychology of Females. Description. This flyer explains how the evolved/genetically determined MOB, that's mob psychology, of females can be punished by MGTOW/masculists, forcing them, that is the women, not to look on males as cash machines and learning to suppress their mob psychology. Flyer itself. Punishing the mob, that's money over brains, the psychology of females. As millions of men become conscious of the idea that women don't love them, but only love men's exploitability, men will become increasingly hostile towards women when they see women acting on their genetic (evolved) instincts, judging men on how much money they can extract for them to pay for fluffy parasitic women to have babies and live in a middle-class home. Then they will lash out at such women, refusing to be cash machines to immoral, parasitic, manslaving bitches. I'm married, but barely. It's a borderline marriage that might end soon because I'm fed up with my current wife, who is a real mob, MOB, money over brains, female. That is, she definitely judges a man by how much money he makes and does not give a shit about a man's other qualities, which in my case are heavily on the brains side, being a professor. Perhaps I should be labelling such women MOPs, money over personality. But my values are oriented strongly towards brains and intellect, so I use MOB, with a B, and women's mob psychology, which has interesting multi-meanings. When I got fired for breaking Chinese law by telling my Chinese university president that few Western researchers would come to our Chinese city to build up China's artificial brain center because of China's lack of democracy, lack of free speech, internet censorship, Mao's 80 million deaths of Chinese citizens, etc., I then became rather poor. My previous Chinese wife stole half my savings. Then she put that money into shares in her own name and just asked me to sign. She had done all the Chinese character admin work for me, so I was in the habit of just signing. It did not occur to me that she put all that money in her own name. When the marriage broke down, due to her showing her true colours of being a middle-class, lazy Chinese female who lied to me about intending to get a PhD, etc., I could not get that money back via the Chinese courts because they're so corrupt, favouring their own nationals, plus the fact that she was the daughter of a general who was on the Long March with Mao and probably got her CCP card-carrying lawyer, big sister, to do some guanxi, that's string pulling, corruption, cronyism, favouritism. When the current Chinese wife met me, she saw her future husband as a high-prestige male, PhD, full professor, earning 2.5 times her assistant professor's salary, her vagina wetted, being the true hypogamous female all women are, by evolved nature, by their DNA. A few months later, I'm fired, and the truth begins to dawn on her that her husband is rather poor and spends his time in retirement studying PhD-level pure math and math physics, so that he can make YouTube lecture course videos so that students around the world at PhD level in those subjects could study them for free. Most males would admire such a man doing such a thing, pioneering free online education for potentially 1 million PhD level math physics students. They would admire and praise, but they are men. After she starts seeing me as poor, the sex dries up. I'm still the same person, but not in her female eyes. Men care about the broader qualities of other men, but how about women? They don't give a shit. Their horizons are too limited. All they really care about in a man is his income level. All the other admirable qualities a man may have are unimportant to her relative to his income level, which for her is far and away the top priority. I bitterly resent this and feel so strongly about it, I may just leave her and go fully MGTOW once I've got my green card. I feel degraded in many ways. Anyone with half a brain would admire what I'm doing, but not a female, not a wife. Women evolved to be parasites on men, to be prostitutes to men, because human babies need to be born prematurely, so their skulls can fit through the birth canal. Then after birth, the baby's brain can continue to grow. But prematurely born babies are useless, so women have to stay with them for several years, and then the next baby comes. Women in Stone Age times became highly dependent on men to bring them protein, so that they and their kids could survive. As a result, women evolved into the sexiest of mammals, with their period of being in sexual heat becoming the whole month, unlike dogs or monkeys. Women evolved to be prostitutes to men. Female sex in exchange for male protein, male resources. This mob, M-O-B, psychology of women is not some social whim. This is deeply ingrained in women's DNA. They evolved that way. They judge a man by his resources and will vagina wet when they come across a rich, smart, handsome man who has the potential to give her fine children and the resources to keep her and her babies alive. Given this deeply ingrained biological reality that women have when judging men, how can MGTOW/masculists combat it? How do you fight biology? How to fight instincts in women that millions of years of evolution have hardwired/programmed into them? It may seem hopeless, but in reality it's not, because that larger human brain that was so strongly selected for has a feature that MGTOW/masculists can use very effectively. That feature is adaptability. The human brain is the most intelligent on the planet of all species. It's capable of learning. So MGTOW/masculists can teach women that if they give free rein to their hypergamous natures, perhaps I should explain. Hypergamy is the tendency of women to want to mate with a man whose socio-economic status is superior to hers. In other words, he has superior genes that she can use for her kids. And that makes perfect Darwinian sense. Can teach women that if they give free rein to their hypergamous natures and then as a result abuse men, then men will punish them. With the fluffy feminists dominating the divorce courts, divorce has become so toxic for men that 2/3 of young men in the US and Japan refuse to marry and have kids. These young men are prepared to wipe out whole populations unless the gender politicians men-fair the gender laws, for example regarding divorce, the paternity rejection rate, etc. So millions of men are now developing new male lifestyles. One of the most popular, going under various names, is tway-tweffing, that is 2A 2F equals 2 apartments, 2 FIPs, in which a male FIP, financially independent person, has a relationship with a female FIP, each having their own apartment. When the relationship almost surely fails, they return to their own apartments, cost-free to the man. With tway-tweffing, the man gets the regular sex he needs, and some female companionship. The great advantage of tway-tweffing for men is that it provides a means for men to force women to be nice to them, not to nag, not to withhold sex, not to try to mould him. Because if the tway-tweffing woman does not do those things, he can tell her, "Be nice, or I'll just walk away." Soon, millions, later billions of men will be doing this if the gender laws are not soon made men fair. So men have a powerful new tool to combat the mob psychology of women. If she starts nagging him to have a baby, or she complains to him that he chooses to live a frugal, minimalist lifestyle, saving and investing most of his money so that he can retire early in life and then ARC, that's A-R-C, after retirement careering, doing what he loves, wage slave free, man slave free, then he can so easily walk. When millions of women experience this kind of tway-tweff rejection time and time again, they will learn to adapt and will learn not to express their genetic-based mob nature, their mob programming. Men will have the means to punish women for being mob. MGTOW/masculists can put enormous public pressure on women to be FIPs and for women to suppress their mob values. Men hate being treated as cash machines, as merely an exploitable resource by fluffy parasites. Men hate it, and despise and reject mob women who treat them so badly. The MGTOW/masculist virus is so virulent that in a few years, nearly all young men and most older men will have been infected by it, so will have their men's-led consciousness raised. They will know about women's mob nature, about women's hypergamy, the tendency of women to be constantly on the lookout for a more sexploitable male, which is also an evolved trait in women. Men will hurl abuse at women when they feel women are attracted only to men's exploitability and not to men's other admirable qualities. Women who express freely their mob psychology will be labelled by men as being shallow-minded, materialistic, exploitative and criminally parasitic. Women will come under enormous moral pressure from men from all sides. Now that women can be FIPs, they must be FIPs, or will rot on the shelf to extinction if they aren't. With women as FIPs, women no longer need their mob psychology, so women soon, in their billions, will have to learn to be FIPs and to suppress their true mob natures. Otherwise, they will not have any kind of relationship with men. They won't even be sexed, because men will be so disgusted with them that they won't even want to fuck them. In summary, men have the means to punish women for expressing their mob psychology. It takes the form of a 3-point program. 1. Push for all women to be FIPs, or they won't get a man. High school fluffy crappers must stop studying fluffy crap and study STEM, S-T-E-M, science, tech, engineering, math, majors, to earn good money. 2. Women will learn that the only kind of relationship that they can have will be to twef, because young men refuse to marry and have kids. 70% of them, 70% of them today, and within a decade will probably be over 90%. Fluffies will have no man, so will have to become a FIP to have any chance of twef. 3. Once a woman is in a twef, she will be forced to suppress her mob psychology, because she knows that if she doesn't, that her male twefing partner can easily dump her. She knows that most of the other men she could twef with will have the same hostility towards female mob psychology as well, so she has no choice but to suppress it in the presence of men. What happened to point 4? Missing. Maybe a 3-point. Anyway. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de GARIS. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name de GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW, Flyers. Ciao.